mail survey sent out to residents, like what they wanted to do with the parks to get that type of feedback, and maybe have a public hearing. Or even, I know 6 or 8 people would be happy to serve on a volunteer committee to help with the, give information to the
Right.
township.
Yeah, ballpark, there was only roughly, Dave, was there roughly 15 people responded to the letter?
If that,
Could we get a report on the 15 people so in the future on one of the meetings and what they said? That would be.
Sure.
Okay, that would be, and Mr. Green, may I have those numbers? That was it $10,440? Was that what?
You're going to have to speak up.
Yeah, 10,440.
Yeah.
Okay, well, maybe we need a microphone in here. That might be helpful then. Thank you so much.
all right, great, thank you. Sir? Anything? Okay. Thank you all. Sal?
Okay, in the past, you have seen me schlep all these boards over to the meeting, and they cost $5 a piece, and I have been printing them in my office. So far I've printed $980 worth. My cost out of pocket is north of $600. I'm not asking for reimbursement. It's my pleasure to have done that. But somebody told me that the smart way of doing it, and that would be Herman Kester, he said, why don't I loan you the projector? You can save money, and so he set the projector up for it. That's going to be our plan B. So I'm supposed to click the button, and the first, you're not supposed to be able to read this. This is, that's okay, Herman, that's fine. This is what we see, this is what we start, we've evolved at the district. Every morning when we get together, workers and Curtis and I, we have a list of things, color-coded, we have old technology, we don't have internet or anything of that nature down there. So we plan out the work for the week. And any person that calls me about anything, your name ends up being on that list on big boards in there, and it gets transferred to an Excel sheet, and then we pull from that Excel sheet for the week ahead. And after we meet, we go out on the street, and this is what happens. So our equipment continues to break down. We have not given up, and we will not give up. We have a lot of damaged equipment thanks to certain behavior in the township prior to our start. And so some holes find us, like this one here. And some holes, can you see okay? Can you make out what they are? And some holes we go looking for.
Hey, ma'am? No, turn the lights on.
Well,
No, I'm sorry, the lights gotta stay on.
oh, okay.
So we'll do better with technology so the board can do their thing and you guys can see as well. So some holes we go looking for them. And I'll tell you the significance of this here. Sometimes you call us and we tell you we don't know. We just don't know what's happening. And this hole was one of those things. So we cut this and we excavated and we looked inside of there and we just couldn't diagnose what the trouble was. So we looked some more and we found this cavern under a road, complete, as you can see, with stalactite. And if you look right here, you can see even a drop of water was still trickling off of that. And that was not too far from that depression in the road. And this happens to be at the intersection of Country Club Place and Autumn Lane. That's one way in, one way out for you guys. And so what would happen here is when cars drive over it, this cavern is not going to know that there's a car there. But the next time you have a fire in that neighborhood, you're going to have a fire truck driving over it, and that's when the pavement will give in. So the fire truck will be in the hole, and the house is burning. You can extrapolate from there. So we designed a fill for this, and we filled it, and it's taken care of. Very few people of you knew about it, but this is part of what we do. This is a curb, talking about curbs. This used to be at Wesley on Country Club Place. Some people were trying, I told you about them, they were trying to save a few seconds to get the dinner before somebody eats all the gravy. So, or the biscuits or the mashed potatoes. And they would drive on the yard right here. They would cut it every single time. So we got we left the base of the curb in the ground. We chiseled off the bad parts. We put epoxy and rebars straight up, and we poured a new curb. The technical term for it is a barrier curb because it's a barrier that stops people from driving on their yard. The road district calls it ouch curb because, as you can see, they tried to do this again, and you can see where they ran into it. So they probably won't do that again. This is another curb that we are replacing at Autumn Lane. I have to remind you, what you're seeing here is only a fraction what your road district does in a week or a month, a fraction. But I can't keep you here all night. So this is the way we're fixing the curbs now. So anything that we're building now has rebar connected to the existing curb. So after I'm dead and gone, the few short curbs that we build will still be there. This is at Country Club Acres. And the reason we replaced this one is because it was a barrier curb. Now that you know what a barrier curb is, from here going to this subdivision, and that breaks snow plows and causes injuries. What else does it do? If you have a fire, if you have an ambulance going in there, you don't want to be on that fire truck, and you don't want to be in that ambulance. So we had a dire need to replace that. This is on Autumn Lane also, and the reason, I'm giving you the reasons why we replace the curbs that we do. The few nickels that we have, we can't replace the curbs in the county, in the township. So this one here had broken and tilted over. So all the water from upstream would come over here, and then it would go down the hillside, tearing up the embankment for the road. This is more at Country Club Place. There was 2 locations. We found few nickels to do some paving off of Route 13. We can't repave. We don't have money. So we know how to fix things, but we have to be judicious about taking care of your infrastructure. So at the entrances, at the 3 entrances, we paved the approaches. So when people drive in our neighborhoods, they see that we care. And then from the approach on down, we're going to do with our own crews in a slow cook fashion. That's all the resources that we have. I drive the township 24/7 just about. And this is a repair job that was done by the water company. Good people, they have been responsive. But when I see this repair and it has broken off, I don't go home and not think about it. I call them about it. We expect the repair to be done in a proper fashion. You can't come into the township, tear things up, and go home and say those people don't care. So the last time I checked it out, they marked it, and it's probably re-poured now. It may not be, I'm not sure. This one here would give satisfaction to a lot of you folks who have problems with trash trucks. So Mr. Schwartz here was a good enough resident, and we need your help. He didn't arrest the trash truck driver, but he called them on it. This is his own driveway. Wow. So the repair we're dealing with the insurance company, and he got us a bid from a contractor to fix it. It's going to be the insurance company's nickel to fix it. And we're going to tell them how we expect it to be fixed. And I'd like to remind you, if any neighborhood, any house goes down, all of us go down. It's not only him. This guy got in here by mistake. This is, I can tell you about him later. This, you can't see very well. There's a red truck here that belongs to Mr. and Mrs. Weaker. Some of the finest citizens we have in the township. Reliant people who do things on their own and they don't ask for any help. So this tree took a notion to falling over late at night. And we called the sheriff because there was some truck damage out there. And I personally, I was too chicken to go up and knock on their door because they'll probably put me in the papers and the road commissioners is knocking on doors at past midnight or whatever. But there was damage to the truck, so I figured that they would need to report for insurance. So I was out there. I don't ask these guys to go out there at 4 in the morning, at 2 in the morning, at 1 in the morning without me being there. And I have done that for the past year every single time. This is the tree that Mr. Duke was talking about. And in addition to what he told you, that he appreciates the work that we've done, and this is a safety issue. When you have a dead tree and it's leaning right over your head, in this particular case over the road, we have to do something about it. Unfortunately, he told me about this about 8 months ago. We were not tardy in doing the work. We are that busy. When I tell you, don't give me a pat on the back, I'll tell you that, I'll tell you why later. 24/7, including weekends, that has been the first year on the job. I wasn't counting on this, but I'm proud and happy to be doing it. So it took us a long time to do it, but because of the limited resources. This is another tree that presented a menace to the residents on, is it Herschel Road? Hertel Road. There's 2 of them, sisters, and they have a lot of stories for the kids in the neighborhood who are grown-up kids, men now. And even though we hire people to take these trees down, they do require our resources. They're too big to deal with. That's our backhoe right there pulling the tree down. In the spring, it's the rainy season. We have our job is like ice cream, different flavors. So in the winter we have snow and ice. In the spring we have rains and lots of rains. And we have a lot of urban area, including a lot of country area. In the urban area we have sewers. And God love us all, when they design all these beautiful subdivisions, they put thin whistles in, which is metal pipes.